What's good with the YouTube? You already know. Balance to Men podcast with my boy Toko. This is Big Flacco, man, smashing and dashing, doing all the good things, talking about everything that we can as ex-convicts out here trying to live in society. So, I wanted to discuss a topic, man, that's kind of important for the general public to understand about where a convict's mindset is at, what type of integrity and respect that we try to have, and we try to build ourselves in there. So, I want to talk about the crimes that are accepted and respected in there, and the crimes that are looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? Um, for
Good
instance,
topic.
if you come in with any type of deviant charges, you know what I'm saying, as far as like, taking advantage of a woman, um, a kid, hurting the elderly, or anything like that, you're not going to be regarded in high regards. Bye bye. It's just dual. You're going to get chopped up on the chopping block. And the same thing goes for out here in society as well. You know, those people are going to be looked down upon. Predators are never going to be respected. Um, there's certain other crimes, man, that they're catch 22, um, such as murder. You know, a lot of time murder, like I said, killings and so forth that take place on the streets. My personal opinion is this, man. I don't believe in acts of violence, right? But a lot of us come from an environment to where that's the norm. It's the cost of doing business. You're not a sociopath. You're not a psychopath. You're kind of domesticated by your environment. These are the things that go on in your environment instead of being at home playing with what I'm saying, the PS4. This is kind of stuff that you grow up doing. So when you encounter people that have killings, you have to really, really gauge and see what it was really about. Was it gang banging? Was it personal? You know what I'm saying? Was it a random act? I mean, people who randomly just hurt people are never going to be respected in prison at all. You know what I'm saying? That's just the nature of the business.
You know, that's a great topic to discuss. We know how we acted in there and what we conformed to in there, right? It was black and white as far as I was concerned, in my experience. Whether I was involved in certain activities or I wasn't, you're always taught there's a criminal code of conduct. There's a code of conduct. Nobody talked about that. When you're on the outside, let me rephrase that. When you're on the outside, you talk about a criminal code of conduct as you're free, or that's a terminology, right, Laco, that
Yes.
free people in law enforcement used when they talked about the code that we had as men. Well, there's very little to hold on to when you're incarcerated and when you're doing time for the crime that you committed, right? So the little bit that we held on to, there was ethics, there was honor, there was a code of conduct that you held, right? A lot of people want to throw criminals in the same category, but that's not the case. I know that might not make sense to the average viewer that's watching, but there is a line that's not crossed. And you know what? You know where we got that from? You know, it's from society, because society feels the same way. You know, it may not reflect as far as the laws are concerned. One might outweigh the other, but you know how that transitions into felons to men. Me being a man now, opinions count for everything out here.
Yeah. I was
Actions act. Yeah, go ahead.
I was looking at some videos, man, and this one video did pretty good touching on this topic, man. So I'm like, you know what, man? Let us take a step back and look at it, man. And there's certain crimes like, man, like, crimes that are committed, um, like drug dealing and so forth, man. Today I look down upon drug dealing, right? Because I feel like we're destroying our communities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But as far as in the prison environment, if you're getting your money, you're getting your hustle on, whatever, you're gonna be
yeah,
still looked about in respectful regards. Even with some murder cases, like I said, majority of murder cases, you're gonna still be respected, man. But when you start to do like deviant crimes or sicko crimes or sociopath crimes, there's gonna be no place for you in there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, man, people are taught that this is as convicts, this is what a convict teaches you. This is our world. You know what I'm saying? Don't affect those that are outside of this world because this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? And that's really true. People who take advantage of or victimize, random civilians, it's never looked at in high regards. It doesn't mean you're going to get whacked, but a lot of times there's certain things that you look at someone, you just can't have as much respect that you'd have for someone else.
exactly, exactly. And I think that the fine line that you're talking about is you might not get whacked for certain things, but I know for myself, certain individuals, if they have a high profile case, if they did something that involved civilians, or if they did something that involved women or children that was questionable, but they weren't directly involved or didn't, it wasn't of a deviant or perverted nature, let's just say, for the sake of YouTube, then okay, whatever the higher ups say or whatever the majority says rules, and I gotta respect that decision. But to me, and this is just me speaking personally, it's nothing to do with Flock or anybody else. Me personally, you had to show me something.
Yeah.
You had to show me something. You could talk the talk. You could have been. You could be about what you were about in San Jose, Milpitas, Los Angeles, wherever the case may be. Right, being politically correct here, but it doesn't mean anything when you're in a controlled environment with a bunch of convicts, with a bunch of people who live black or white. The gray area is usually called due process, and we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't know how it goes nowadays, but I know towards the tail end of my career, it was far few and in between, like mist. It was almost like mythical legend to get due process. And what translates out to here as a felon becoming a man is you can't think the same way. You can't conduct and carry yourself the same, because out in the real world, there's a lot of gray area. And
Yeah, there is.
That was without getting into the next spill. Excuse me. That's proven. It's a proven fact about what just happened in Texas. God bless everything. God bless the people. God rest their souls. It was a horrific tragedy. In no way, shape, or form we're making excuses for it. But the narrative goes back to mental health. You know what I mean? And like I said, that touches into what Flocko and I are talking about. There's a lot of gray area. There's more for you becoming as a felon. It's a black or white, in my opinion. As a man, as you're converting into that, becoming a productive member of society again, there's a lot of gray area. You got to respect other people's opinions. Their decision doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you can't act the way that you used to act anymore, because you're going to look like that. Now you're the tyrant. Now you're the problem. Now, now we got, look at this guy. You know what I mean? You have to become almost part of the line, so to speak, and then give your opinions as you so see fit, to where it caters to everybody's needs, which in my opinion is wrong, and
Yeah.
And kind of, just like I'm doing now, say things that are politically correct. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not being fake or phony. I'm just trying to cater to everybody has an opinion, probably about what happened yesterday, probably about what we're talking about. And that's okay. Flocko and I welcome that on this channel, because that's what it's about. It's about real topics, real concerns that are dear to Flocko's heart and to my heart. That's why we do these spills, man. You can say what you want and feel what you want, man. But the bottom line is, it's a Felons to Men podcast, and we're showing you how we used to think, what was in between, what we struggle with, and where we are now.
It's some things we maintain. I have to interject. I think there's certain things that we do still maintain that we learn behind the walls. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a certain level of respect that you can show to people that other people just don't get back to you out here in the streets. There's certain type of conduct that you can conduct yourself in that some people just don't carry themselves. You know what I mean? We're so conditioned to and so attentive to our surroundings that we could just read everything around us, man. You know what I'm saying? I could see things that we got to be, five of us could be in the room, and only me and you could both see what we're seeing. You know what I'm saying? And those are natural instincts. So in reaching this topic, man, like what crimes are acceptable and what are not in prison, it's a dog eat world in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Where people sometimes have to present themselves as a false front, if that makes sense. You can never really truly be your true authentic self when you're in prison. I don't give a fuck how hard you try. Every once in a while, you may be able to have a night where you're selling, where you're joking around, being yourself. But it's business. It's purely business. It's a fucking job, guys. Believe it or not. And the same, views that I had then about certain crimes. I still have those crimes. I still have those same views, man. Nothing's changed. Deviant crimes will never be accepted. Crimes against elderly and women will never be accepted. You know what I mean? There's a little wiggle room to some scenarios to where someone could get cleared, depending upon what group they're aligned with. But most people, man, when it comes to kids, ain't no race going to tolerate that. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain crimes that maybe you could be looked at as far as, in higher regards. Like, say, if you put in some work for one of these particular organizations, yeah, you're going to be looked at in high regard. That's in the prison life. In the street life, society's not going to look at you in high regard. There is some differential positions that you have to have on certain things that the streets will not agree with. Or what I mean by the streets, normal society will not agree with, but the streets will. You know what I mean? Getting that paper, holding your mug and all that, and taking the rap and shit like that. That's what they look for more than what your charges are at times. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like holding your mud and keeping your mouth shut. It's almost looked down upon now in this new generation.
It's a new generation, brother.
It's a new generation. I get it. We're old relics. We have to evolve in order to get better. And I'm not hating or nothing like that. I'm just saying, 30 years from now, this younger generation is going to say the same thing about this current generation that we're talking about. So you have to evolve with the times and stuff like that. But yeah, to the point of the podcast and what we're talking about, there's just, regardless if you're involved in this life or a criminal life or a negative, whatever you want to call it today, there's just certain things that are unacceptable that will always be unacceptable, and yeah. I think that the biggest thing for me, or the hardest transition for me, is because, like I said, it's not making it personal because of my own personal experiences, because of my own personal losses. Every situation is different. Sometimes it could be worse. Sometimes it could be less, but deviancy is deviancy. Perversion is perversion. Weirdo is weirdo, no matter how you slice it. There's just certain things that I'm never going to understand. But at the same time, and here's where the growth has come in from a felon to becoming a man, is that
let's hear it.
These individuals who victimize, who are of a deviant nature, who do pervert, have mothers, they have fathers, they have brothers and sisters, children, wives, husbands, who are productive members of society, maybe even hold high positions as far as socialites are concerned. And am I going to throw them all in the category because you got one family member that goes out and terrorizes little boys and girls, or likes to jump out of trees and attack women, or is caught with some perverted material and some stuff like that, and exploits or sex trafficking or so on and so forth? I can't do that. Those old ways, yeah, fuck them all, fuck them few, and fuck them in between. They're all done. They're his family or her family, which I know now I could say with all honesty was wrong, because that's not the case. You cannot hold a wife, children, mother, father. You can't hold them responsible for how a grown adult.
You're supposed to hold your wife sacred, your kids sacred, right? And you know what I mean? Period. Right or wrong?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely right.
I mean, and that's what back in the days, man. I was talking to the old Cardinal, right? Fig. I was talking to Fig earlier, right? And I did a spiel with Rojo about how utilizing women is frowned upon. He said back in the days, man, they used to rock with females. They used to assist and so forth. They used to wear the emblem and everything.
Yeah.
But what changed everything, man, is that nowadays they're not on the same caliber as far as mental strength, as far as to be in that lifestyle. Now as things have changed, they're more into the work field place. They're more into doing this and that. Therefore, it's become pretty much a decline. You know what I'm saying? So then when you do try to involve them, that's why you're having everybody get caught up in indictments and so forth, man. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. What were we talking about? Oh, about holding your family sacred. Okay.
Right.
So if you care about your lady, your wife, or whatnot, you're not going to involve them in that lifestyle. And if you do at all, it's going to be the bare minimum. But even then, you got to think about that, man. You know, I caught a case, bro. My second case, I had my this is how much I've matured. I had my firstborn daughter in the motel room with a bunch of dope in the room. You know what I'm saying? That was my thinking, bro. I used to go out there in the streets and sell dope and pick up. I used to go see a fucking boxer, and I would drive off the Salinas with my daughter in the car to pick up dope. But she was 9 months old, bro, because I didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? Because those things weren't being taught in prison. Now they're starting to be more stricter on things. Things have changed a little bit, man.
Yeah.
But you know,
yeah, I remember those days, man. There were
that's the
homeboys
hard
that
thing
I
about,
would
like
meet
I
up with.
said, becoming
They
a
had the
felon
old
to a
lady and
man
the
is
kids in the
because
car.
I
Crazy.
I didn't necessarily have someone there to teach me how to be a man. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn to be a man in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not everything that I learned there was always good either, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I wanted to cut this one short so we can get on to the next one. Is there any other final last words?
No, other than the fact that you're right about what you said. To piggyback off of what you said, not everything that we learned in there applies to being a man out here,
Yeah.
because you have to get in touch with a whole different side of yourself if you're going to be successful around your kids, women, whether it's your mother, whether it's your sister or your aunt, whoever your old lady, relationship, whatever. There has to be you have to relearn. You got to take what applies and let the rest fly. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like I said, it's a rough transition. So any man or woman that's kind of going through the same things that we talked about,
Difficult.
where you have that old constitution that you're in there, but you're struggling, you have a job, you're working, but you see all these things and you want to act out on them. Trust me, it's natural. But if you could find somebody you could bounce the stuff off of that you could trust, it's better to talk about it, and it's not punk shit when I say that. It really is better to talk about, like Flacco and I are doing, than to go out, go balls out, man, and just fuck off your freedom and your family. Man. For
everything
what?
Be done.
I guarantee you this. The final thought with this is, whatever you're looking at, whatever's making you nuts that you see on TV, the crime, or whatever it is that you don't agree with, as soon as you take flight, as soon as you act out, guess what? Now you're the news.
Yeah,
now
true.
You're the problem, and you're the felon. Whether you're the man or you're the woman, you're the felon that went out and see, we told you so. Look at this. She's this or he's this. Let's lock them up for life. And you take away from what really happened, and people don't get to know your plight because you acted out in violence or you acted out like we normally do. So that's some food for thought, man. I know it's hard to do, but you really got to ask yourself, man, what's more important? The struggle out here and have a key to your own place, or the struggle in there, having to listen to somebody tell you when to go to sleep and when not to.
Yeah.
And then everything that Flacco, Gunner, and Rojo, Paradise, everybody's talking about on these other channels about what's going on the inside right now. Would you rather deal with that or deal with some feelings that you could bounce off somebody and be free? You got to ask yourself that. And with that, Flacco's got it.
That was well spoken, bro. I can't imagine that, brother. This was just a quick topic, man. We're gonna record right now. Right after this, you guys should see them. We're gonna go into these active shooters. There's one in San Bernardino, the Boston one. We're gonna talk about all of them real quick.
We got 113 videos.
I'm gonna drop this video right now. I gotta record this right now. Drop it, man, so we push something right now. I'll send you the link in 10 minutes, brother.
All right, brother.